Hello and welcome to Matchday Live. It is time for the UEFA Champions League last 16 and we are here for our fixture against FC Copenhagen. Now, first round knockout games in the Champions League have been quite memorable for Manchester City, and where better to start than the 5-3 game against Monaco, where we discovered Portuguese wizard Bernardo Silva. In 2020, we faced Real Madrid in the round of 16 and we ended up winning against the Spanish Giants for the first time. We've ended up playing Real Madrid 3 times out of the last 4 seasons, and I'm pretty certain everybody watching can remember last year.
This one's found its way towards goal and it's in from Gabriel Jesus. And surely now there is no way back for Real Madrid.
Behind me is the iconic Rosenborg Castle, and it's only right that we revisit last season's round of 16 fixture against RB Leipzig. There was a certain number 9 who was the king that day. He got 5 and the rest was history.
Oh, it's saved, and Haaland's there again!
So here we are at the Parken Stadium here in Copenhagen, and it's time to talk about one of the most iconic goals in Manchester City's history, scored in that goal in 2009 by a certain someone.
Here's Stephen Ireland. Chance. Oh, and the goalkeeper's let it go through his hands and in. And Nader Manua has scored for Manchester City. And it's a terrible moment for Jesper Christensen.
Oh, what a goal it was. How we could do with having that man here in Copenhagen today.
No, stop, don't worry. I'm here.
Oh, hello, Naden.
Yeah, I did score in there. I think it was in that one. It was definitely that one. 3
seconds it took you to mention that.
Well, it's an important goal in the history of Manchester City.
It is an important goal indeed. Last 16, important game. How are you feeling?
Very much so. I'm feeling good. Obviously, last season they didn't manage to score a goal here like I did when I came here. But I think the belief is definitely going to be there. The team's playing really well, and you can see that they're sort of finding their groove, which is always good.
Well, we're going to be here pitch side, me and the serial goal scorer, Nader Manua.
I'll be signing autographs to people who remember the goal as well, so yeah.
Yeah, well, hopefully the keeper's not here. Let's head to the studio, shall we? And we'll see you again soon.
I've done it again. It's all right. All the best, mate. All the best.
I thought I'd saved it.
Welcome to Matchday Live. That had us all chuckling there in the studio. Thank you so much to Nadem and to FG. Nadem has literally been waiting for this match ever since he scored that goal. We've all heard about that goal in detail. You've all heard about that goal in detail. And I don't know, I feel like we should do some sort of prediction on how many times we are going to hear about that goal this evening. I'm just going to go for like 15, something like that. Thank you so much for joining us. We are back. Champions League is back. The knockouts are here and we are on the road again to retain our Champions League title. That never grows old. It always gives me goosebumps. Joining me in the studio tonight, genuine Manchester City royalty. Everywhere you look, you see royalty, royalty, royalty. Joining me, Shaun Wright-Phillips, Steph Houghton and Paul Dickov. We are going to bring you the team news in just a second. I'll get in trouble, but you know I like to live life on the edge. I'm going to tell you, and hope that UEFA don't watch Matchday Live, that there are 4 changes to the team that beat Everton at the weekend, and Jack Grealish starts. Don't tell anybody. Jack Grealish starts. I'll give you the full team news in just a minute. But Paul, it's lovely to see you. Thank you for... genuinely, thank you for being here tonight, because weren't you like in Argentina like yesterday or something?
I just flew in especially to see you and come on the show tonight. Yeah, lovely few days away.
Because you weren't there for long though.
No, we're there. Got there Thursday and we left Saturday after the game and got back Sunday. So it was a very busy tour, but it was fantastic. You know, I say I'm a lucky boy going to these places, and yet again, the City fans blow you away. You know, you wonder what you're going to expect going to a different country, but they're fanatical, so it was great.
Well, I'm glad you had such a wonderful time. Continue to represent us around the world. I am allowed to give you the full team news now. So here is the starting 11 for City for this evening. So, as I sneakily told you, 4 changes from that team that beat Everton. So, starting, of course, in net is Edison. And then you have Walker, captain, he's back. Stones, Diaz and Ake. Rodri, Kevin De Bruyne starts. Bernardo Silva, Foden, Jack Grealish and Erling Haaland. So that is your starting 11. If we have a look at the subs bench for this evening, it is Ortega, Carson, Doku, Alvarez, Akanji, Nunes, Bob, Wright, Sissoko and Lewis. So that is your starting 11 and your subs bench for tonight's Champions League game. So 4 changes from the team that won at the weekend. Walker, De Bruyne, Bernardo Silva and Grealish all come into the game this evening. Shaun, instant reactions to that team? Any surprises for you?
No, especially with the Jack, I always see that he's likely to play in the Champions League just in the way he plays. He retains possession of the ball very well. He buys the free kicks when the time is needed, when sometimes City might need that break and to take their foot off the pedal a little bit. So I kind of think I saw that one coming, and it's nice to see a similarity to this team of what we saw at the back end of last season, where obviously points now and results now really, really matter. So it's the business time, and whoever steps in there now has to show the manager that they're here to stay in.
Steph, I'm loving these bomber jackets, by the way. I think you and I would like these bomber jackets.
Yeah, they're pretty cool, aren't they?
So what about me and Paul? What do you mean, just you and
your
I?
hoodies. We're in bomber jackets. You're in
a bomber jacket in
I used
City
to have one of
Life.
them in the 70s. You're too young to remember that.
the original. So there is Ruben Diaz arriving. Ruben Diaz in the starting 11 tonight. Steph, from a defensive point of view, we have rotated a little bit this season. Of course, Kyle Walker wasn't in the starting 11 at the weekend. Tonight, Walker, Stones, Diaz and Ake. What do you make? I was going to say back four, but I'm just going to say defenders.
They can play anywhere, can't they? That's a scary thing. No, I think, to be honest, if we look at it from probably the last few games, obviously he's going to rotate quite a lot because of how many games the lads are playing. But I think, in general, that's probably our strongest back four in 5, including Ederson. I think you look at Walker, he has to come in the team. He's the captain of the club, and Stones is working his way back to match fitness. And we spoke about Ake before. I think he's been probably our most consistent defender. So we look pretty strong in that area. I think, in general, the team looks really strong. And like Shaun said before, that's probably pretty close to what we started with for the Champions League towards the end of last season.
In terms of the tactical positioning of those back four, are you expecting to see John Stones pushing forward a bit more?
I think we will, but I think we've been away from home, and last season away from home we drew a lot of games. We relied on getting teams back to the Etihad, and from previous seasons not been maybe as gung-ho as we were. So I think more often than not it'll be a back four, but it wouldn't surprise you to see John Stones stepping in to join the guys in midfield, because he's, as a central defender, he's the best in Europe at doing that. We've seen that the back end of last season, the game against Real Madrid, the Champions League final, he was outstanding in doing that, and he's the one player, the one English player that we've got here in the Premier League that can do that role, and we've shown that. And Kyle naturally wants to tuck in as well.
I don't know if you read the stat pack before, or if you're just a genuinely excellent pundit. I'm going to say a genuinely excellent pundit, Mr. Dickov. But we haven't won any of our last 5 away games in the Champions League, which sounds crazy, really, when you say it like that. So 4 draws and 1 loss. That goes back to Sporting in the round of 16, 21, 22. So that is exactly what you just said. Yeah. We don't go gung-ho in away games. Are you expecting any different tonight? No,
I'm not. And I think that's, I don't know what Steph and Shaun think. I think that's a sign of experience in the competition. And, over the past few years, maybe we've, our Achilles heel has been conceding too many goals, and that's why we've not went on to win it, apart from last season. And we've looked so solid away from home. You look at the back four tonight, and I know John Stone's in there, but there's proper defenders that are in there as well that want to defend, and I can imagine them sitting in with Rodri in front, and then the players, you've got Bernardo Silva, Phil, Jack, Erling all in front of them that can go and win you the game at any point. And Copenhagen's record at their own stadium, European games, is fantastic, and it's going to be a tough game tonight. So I think first and foremost is don't concede, don't get beat, and you've got the players in the pitch that can go and win you the game to bring them back here to the Etihad.
Of course, one of those players is always going to be Kevin De Bruyne. He didn't start at the weekend again as well, Shaun. Do you think that was a case of managing his minutes so that he would be available for the start this evening?
Yeah, most definitely, but I don't think it's just based on the start this evening. I think it's for the remainder of the season. I think, as we can see, especially within the Premier League, it's a 3-horse race at the minute, so we're going to need all those players fit and ready to go. But then also we've got the FA Cup and the Champions League, so you have to manage minutes of not only Kevin but everybody that's come back from an injury, really. And for me, it was a safe bet to do And when they needed him, they just brought him on, and that was it. The game was over, sort of thing. So it's nice to have that option when you can bring on somebody like him. But to have him starting in a game, they will fear him. They'll try to take him out of the game. But he's somebody that I don't think anybody that's tried has managed to succeed in stopping him from creating any chances, because he takes you into foreign territories. He takes midfielders out to right wing and right back, and takes you all over the place. So you can't man mark him, which is it's a special talent.
I completely agree. I think you will probably all agree with Shaun as well. When Kev came on Saturday, he went, "Oh yeah, we're good.
Here we go.
Here he is." So Kev, of course, starts tonight. I say Kev like he's my best mate, by the way, but I feel like we all just feel like he's he is. Yeah,
King Kev.
Yeah, King Kev. King Kev starts. Also starting tonight, Bernardo Silva. So he didn't start at the weekend either. What do you think Bernardo is going to bring to this team this evening, Steph?
I mean, Bernardo Silva, he's an amazing player. I think whether he plays on that right wing or he actually plays in midfield, because him and Foden, they swap quite a lot. But look, he's experienced and he really likes to take the games by a scruff of the neck, and that's what he does. He brings energy to the team. He's probably one of our best pressers in terms of without the ball, and he really sets that tempo going forward. So, I mean, we all love him here and what he does, and I think Pep has been quite clever with how he is rotating the team, but that's what happens when you've got such a good squad. You're able to kind of replace quality with quality, and you're able to get the likes of Kevin, the likes of Bernardo to kind of be ready for when these big games come, and that Champions League experience away from home is vital at this stage.
He's so right, it's such an exciting team this evening. Looking down at that starting 11, it has got me wondering, Paul, is this our best starting 11?
I don't know. I would think so. I agree with Steph that it's probably our strongest back four, but then that's nothing against Guardiola and the other players that are in there. And, then you've got Doku, who's been great as well. But I think the European, I think Pep's maybe looked at last season away from home, and I mean, is that the same team that started the Champions League final?
Walker didn't
apart from
start.
Kyle, yeah.
Apart from Kyle, yeah.
Apart from Kyle, so I think that tells you a story. But look, any team with Kevin De Bruyne and Jack Grealish, Phil Foden, and Bernardo Silva.
Even like Alvarez is not even in this, and he's had a great season, which is crazy to think you've got someone who can score goals still on the bench.
Yeah, I feel now, as soon as you said that, then I felt suddenly really disrespectful, because Alvarez has played every single Premier League game this season and been great. So to suddenly say that, I was like, oh my goodness, there's going to be Alvarez fans absolutely nuts with me right now, Shaun.
Yeah and no. I think anybody that's a fan of Alvarez and that's a fan of Man City, over the years you can see what Pep's done has pretty much always worked. So you have to believe in what the man's doing. He seems to have a knack of knowing when to play players and when not to play players. And for whatever reason, he can not play someone for a month and a half. And when he does decide to play them, they seem to be up to match speed straight away. So there's not worry of him being rusty or anything like that. He'll just get on the pitch and play as if he's been playing every minute this season. And Alvarez is just good at that anyway.
I think what it does show is when everybody's fit, what an unbelievably good squad we've got.
It's also the first time, innit, in a year.
Yeah,
that City's had a full fit squad. So that's positive signs there.
Positive signs indeed. Thank you very much, all of you. So we're going to head back over now to Copenhagen, where I imagine Nader Manu is currently standing on the sideline, again, picturing about or telling somebody, anyone nearby, about his goal. They've been in Copenhagen for a few days now, and I believe FG went shopping and bumped into some Matchday Live fans in a shopping centre in Copenhagen, which I love. Is that true, FG?
Yes, thank you, Natalie. Welcome to the Parken Stadium, myself and Nader. And yeah, absolutely. I was in the mall today and I met a man who said, shout out to Elvis, by the way, absolute legend, said that he'd watched the show. So how amazing is that? Thank you for watching us and supporting us. We're here in a very cold Copenhagen and we've just seen the Manchester City lineup. Happy with it, Nader?
Yeah, I'd have been happy with it either way, to be honest. I think we've seen some changes in recent weeks, but the players that are coming in and players that are going out, they're all real quality. I think for some, the starting 11 he's gone for today is probably the favourite of quite a few City fans. I think you're seeing the talent of like a De Bruyne in there, you're seeing a Foden in there, you're seeing a Bernardo Silva, you know, you're seeing them all. So I'm sure people will be happy, and hopefully they can put in a good performance as well.
Now, one man who is back in the starting lineup today is Jack Grealish. Great to see him back, and an important game sort of to keep the game under control. He's very good at that, and he's very good at keeping possession, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. He's good at keeping possession, but he's also like an attacker. You know, he's somebody that contributes with goals, assists and drives, and sort of sets the tempo at times in games as well. I think obviously there is an element whereby when he plays, Pep really trusts him to control the tempo of the game as such, which is always very important when you're travelling around in Europe. But he's still top, and it's great to see him back in the side. He's obviously been disappointed in recent weeks, not playing as much as he'd like. But if he's healthy and he's in good form, like, what a player to have.
What a player indeed. Now, I have to talk about the centre-back pairing, or the centre-back pairing we predict, John Stones and Ruben Diaz. Gave City fans a lot of good memories during a certain season. Defensively very solid, and they seem to be they seem to enjoy playing with each other, don't they?
Yeah, they do. They really complement each other. You know, the way that they sort of view defending, whether it's in terms of being committed, being composed on the ball as well, and leading from the back. I think we saw what a difference those two made in the 2021 season. Like, what difference they made in terms of springboarding City's season to end up being successful domestically. And it's great to see them back, and it's great to see them both available at the same time. Obviously, Ake's done very well in there as well, and Akanji on the bench today has done very well. Like, it really is just so many riches that the football club has in terms of that quality. These are all international players. We have to see Stones and to see Diaz in there playing alongside each other. As you said, it's the nostalgia, it's the good memories, but thankfully, from a City perspective, any combination brings that same feeling.
It does indeed. Now, a word on the atmosphere here. It's very early so far, but there is a certain stand on our right-hand side which is completely full.
So I know we can't turn the cameras around, so FG's tried to show you something that's going on over here. There is a stand that is completely full. If we could show you, we would, but FG's decided to try and ruin it, yeah. But there's a completely full stand, and it has been there since 2 and a bit hours before kick-off. I think this is going to be very representative of what they are as a fan base. They're very passionate, they support the team very intensely, and I think there's going to be a massive tifo reminding City that, you know, this is a long way from Manchester.
Speaking of reminding people of certain things, I mean, we've seen the intro to the show already. Is there anything that you want to remind the people that happened in a certain goal, maybe just behind us, Nadem?
Listen, there are a limited amount of people that have scored a goal for Man City here, and I am one of them, and I did it over there. Obviously you can't see it, but you've seen the goal. Best thing to do is to rewind the show and watch it again at some point. But it was a great goal scored in Europe by somebody who didn't score many goals, but still, they were all very enjoyable, and that certainly was one.
Very enjoyable as well, speaking to every single person in Copenhagen and making sure, Nadem was making sure they knew. You told the flight attendant...
Listen, I will be remembered. I will be remembered.
People know that he scored a goal here, and it's not just people here, it's people in the malls, it's people absolutely everywhere. And hopefully everyone watching Matchday Live at home knows that Nadem Manua scored a goal here in 2009. Now, speaking of iconic Manchester City defenders like yourself, Nadem, we have Steph Houghton in the studio. Steph, I know you've scored some bangers in this City show. We want to hear what your best one is.
Thank you so much to FG and to Nadem. I imagine you haven't scored anything as bad as Nadem's. I mean, scoring a goal's good, by the way, but...
It was a pretty powerful strike, Nadem's, wasn't it? So I'm not sure I've got any of that, what I've scored for City. But, oh, God, we knew we were going to hear about that goal, didn't we?
I'm just disappointed that we didn't make T-shirts. Like, I feel like we should have all been sat here and, yeah, Nadem scored in Copenhagen. Do you want to see it again? Should we look at it again? Might as well. Come on. There we go. Here he is. He's about to strike it with power.
Shawnee,
hey.
Talk me through how stiff he is.
He's
there.
the stiffest man in the world right there. He tries to open his body, but it just stays straight.
Definitely going the opposite corner, supposedly.
If David James was here, would there be any defending that goalkeeper?
Jamo would still defend the goalkeeper on that, 100%.
The wind,
yeah, it would be something.
slope.
Yeah. Floodlights were in his eyes. There would be all sorts coming out.
We love you, Nadem. We love you. The funniest thing about it was when he used to tell us that he scored in Copenhagen, I'd never seen the goal. And we used to talk about it, and we didn't actually end up seeing the goal just then, just until we ended up having the draw. So Nadem was hiding that well for a while. But,
did you have it in your head that it was a better goal than...
Yeah!
Have you heard him talking about the goal before we actually seen it? I thought he beat 4 players, opened his body out and bent it in the top corner.
That's what he told everybody.
Oh, hold on. Nadem's currently watching the show and he's absolutely fuming. Oh, he's just been watching his own goal. Yeah. Yes, Nadem.
His celebration was just as stiff as his goal as well.
Oh, there's FG.
Because he thought he whipped it, didn't he? You saw him arc his body, run off like he was trying to put it in a corner, and it just bobbled straight forward.
I'm so thankful for this draw. If we hadn't drawn Copenhagen, we wouldn't be getting these magical moments. Thank you to FG and thank you to Nadem. So we will have the Copenhagen team news for you very, very shortly. It actually isn't out quite yet. They're a little bit behind with that. As soon as we have the Copenhagen team news, we will, of course, bring it to you. But we're so thrilled tonight to be joined by a very, very special guest. He's not quite here yet. He's just teasing us. I'm going to ask Paul Dickov if was he often late?
Is he late again?
He is late. Yes, he's late.
Ridiculous.
Oh, apparently he's back. He's
so
back.
So much for German efficiency, eh?
There he is. Former Manchester City player Uwe Rosler is joining us. He's the current manager of AGF. Is it Aarhus? Aarhus, Uwe, is that right?
Good evening. Yes, it's Aarhus.
Aarhus, thank you very much. You're fourth in the Danish Superliga at the halfway stage.
Yes, halfway stage. Monday starts the second half of the season. Semi-final in the cup. Everything to play for.
So it's always lovely to see you, but of course you're the perfect person for us to have on this evening because you can tell us a little bit more about Copenhagen, a little bit more about the Danish league as well. We should start by saying that you've already done what we're hoping to do tonight, Uwe. Your team have beaten Copenhagen at Copenhagen this season.
Yeah, I can tell you it's possible. So now I think Copenhagen under the new coach did really well in the last 12 months. A new coach came in, Nestrup, won the double, came qualified into the Champions League. That is for FCK the biggest achievement, to qualifying regular for the Champions League, to build a financial polster compared to the rest of the league in Denmark. And they did that really impressively. And obviously at the moment, in terms of financial power, financial muscles compared to the rest of the league, FCK is miles ahead.
Thank you. So we're gonna have the team news in just a second, Uwe. But from your experience, is there any which of the players, who are the standout players for Copenhagen that we need to keep an eye on this evening?
I think there is a well-functioned machinery, very well drilled 4-3-3. Not much space in between the lines. They're having very energetic wingers. They can control games, but I think in the Champions League they played a lot. When you saw the last game against Man United, for example, they play a lot on emotions. I think Parken is a fantastic place. To go there is a excitement to play for 40,000, and they have a special type of fans. I think it's very, very important for our team today to quieten them with take the sting out of the game, keeping the ball, don't drive on emotions, slow the game down. And I think when you see our starting 11, exactly, there's a lot of football in it. There's a lot of technical ability in it to keep the ball. And I think that is the recipe to quieten them, to control the game, and eventually you have a chance to score against them. Because we did it on set pieces. When they have in our league a weakness, then it is set pieces, and we punished them in the last game with 2 goals from it.
Uwe, how are you, my friend?
Hi, my friend.
Oh,
I can't believe it. You chosen Abu Dhabi ahead of Aarhus, rainy, windy Aarhus. I have to say, you have to pay.
Uwe, it was really, really tough decision, mate. I've got to tell you that. Never mind talking about the FC Copenhagen manager, mate. Let's talk about you, because you were in the RS, they were struggling a little bit, and what a job you've done. 4th in the league, and as you said, semi-final. Congratulations, mate.
Thank you very much. I really enjoyed myself. It's a strong league. I've been now I've been in Norway, Sweden, and now in Denmark. I think the Danish league is by far the strongest league. You see also the players we sold, or in general players leaving the league. We sold last season for over 20 million euros. Players who are playing now for Inter Milan, Udinese, and Red Bull Salzburg. I think this league is a little bit underestimated in terms of competitiveness, in terms of quality. I never had worked in a league where you're only having 12 teams, but I think I can tell you something. The difference, the distances between the teams apart from FCK, is very thin. Every goal counts, every minute, every detail counts to win matches, and it's really, really tough. I can tell you that. But I'm really enjoying it. Aarhus is a place who goes places. We get a new academy building. We get a new stadium in the next 2 years, and we are competitive. And I think that is important for me.
I'm looking forward to coming and seeing you, mate.
Yes, please come, sir.
Yep, a few coffees, yeah, no alcohol.
The food is excellent in Aarhus, I can tell you.
It's on you then.
Come on, eh? I work in Denmark, eh?
Uwe, are you okay to stay there? We're going to get the Copenhagen team news, but we'd love your reaction to it, if you're okay to hold on.
No problem, my pleasure.
Before we go, though, can I just check, Uwe, have you ever heard about the wonder goal that was scored by Neda Manua against Copenhagen?
Please say no.
I saw some goal. Powerful shot from 25 meters. Unsavable from the keeper. But as far as I remember.
Thank you, Uwe. Thank you so much. There we go. For the third time tonight, there is Nedum's goal. Love you, Nedum. Love you. Right, serious. We need to give you the Copenhagen team news for this evening. So, here is the starting 11. So, it is in goal, Grabara. And then it is Deeks, Vavro, Klassen, Matson, Diogo, Elianusi, Gillette, McKenna, Ashuri, and Felk. That is the starting 11 for Copenhagen, and you can see the substitutes are on your screen as well. On the subs bench is a certain Haaland, who of course is the brother of Manchester United's Rasmus Haaland. So that is the Copenhagen team arriving there. So Uwe, you will know far more about that starting 11 than we will. So when you look at that starting 11, who, again, apologies, same question again, who is the standout player? Who, now we know the team, who is the one that we're looking out for?
I think the two new signings playing, McKenna from Forest and Matson from Nijmegen. They're going right into the starting 11, but surprised me a little bit. I think, like I said before, a very well drilled team with not having one absolutely outstanding player. I think there's a lot of internationals there, there's a lot of experience there. But I think Falk, the number 6 from the three midfielders, he dictates the game. I think it's very important we have a look at him because he makes the team tick. We have Elianusi, a well-travelled Norwegian winger who played also for Southampton in the Premier League. We're having Ashuri, just came back from the African Nations Cup, a very good 1v1 player. Klassen, Swedish international, very experienced. But I think the strength is the pack, the strength is the team, and especially the strength is the atmosphere in Parken, where we have to make sure that we not get sucked in this emotional hamster wheel, because then things can happen.
Of course, Leyara is suspended for this evening. He scored the winning goal against Galatasaray that got them through to this stage. He got sent off for 2 yellows in that game, so he's suspended for tonight's game, but he will be back for the reverse fixture. How much of a negative is that for them that he won't be playing this evening?
I think he's a very experienced player. He's a physical, strong player who's very important for them for set pieces and arriving into the box. He's like an offensive 8/8-10 next to a striker coming from midfield, from finding good positions in the box, like a little bit like McTominay, a late arrival into the box and always a goal threat. Set pieces dangerous. I think it's important. We have a good football team out there today, but we also have a height and power to cope with the balls into the box, because we have a big back four plus Rodri plus Haaland. I think we have more than enough to cope with that.
Uwe, there's a lot of talk over here about the fact that your league has been on its winter break as well, so they haven't played a competitive game for 2 months now. Obviously, we know there's friendlies, there's tournaments. We've been talking about it a lot, but Is that just the norm? Will Copenhagen just be used to that break now and then coming straight back into competitive football, or is that something that is going to be a positive for City?
Natalie, 2 weeks ago, my team and we traveled down to Copenhagen, and I tell you what, we played a very competitive match against them for 2 weeks ago. So they're a friendly match for now, but I think those teams here, they are used to that. I think this is our yearly holiday, yearly break. In the summer, we have a very quick turnover. We have only 2 weeks holiday. We're playing more or less through the summer. But in the winter time, we're having December off, having then 6 weeks pre-season, and then here we go again. I think FCK, they are experienced. They're experienced to be in Europe. They're experienced to coming out of the group stages, either in the EuroLeague or this time in the Champions League. And I think that in terms of preparation, I think they know all the secrets. They was part of the Atlantic Cup in Portugal. I heard today from a colleague, from a coach, that they're looking pretty good. I think with the 40,000 in the back, they will be ready. They will fight. They will give everything.
Yeah, I think, but we've been talking about it. It's been in the media a lot, Shaun. But like Uwe says, they'll just be used to coming off the back of a break and getting straight into it. Do you think that's going to be a positive for City, or do you think it's just null and void? We should just not talk about it.
Uwe said at home, so that's one advantage to them. That will carry the adrenaline, and Paul and Steph will tell you sometimes you're tired, but if that crowd's behind you, that tiredness kind of disappears. So I think that at the minute, I would assume that they may be at a level, but not clearly at the level where City are, because City have continuously played. They haven't had a break, but still going to be a very tough game there.
I can't see it being a problem for them. As Uwe said, they're used to it. You know, that's happened now season after season after season. And the whole point of them having their break, having the pre-season as such as they're having now, is to get them ready for games like this.
Paul, you know they're coming better back from off-season than we remember.
Yeah. that was always fine pre-season. There's somebody on the screen and somebody on the sofa that I can't say too much about on that one.
Uwe, I've been on a night out with Paul Dickov and seen him up the next day at 8 o'clock running, so I imagine that pre-season was fine for him.
Yes.
No comment.
No comment. That is real friendship.
Yeah.
Uwe, thank you so much for joining us this evening. We really appreciate your time. Very best of luck with the second half of the season. We will keep an eye on it. Oh, we're coming back to you a little bit later. Hooray. OK, so have a pause for a second, Uwe. We'll speak to you again very shortly.
Thank you.
Thank you there to Uwe Rosler. Right, we're going to go back over now to pitch side in Copenhagen, because from one great striker to another, FG's found our friend Ellie McCoist.
Yes, thank you very much, Natalie. It's with pleasure to say I am joined by your favourite person and my favourite person also. Sorry, Naden.
Oh, no, it's fine. I'll take it personally. It's fine.
Ellie McCoist has joined us on MATCHDAY Live. First things first, welcome back. Thank you for
having me. Great to be here. Great atmosphere already, isn't it? I mean, the place they've been in best part of 2 hours.
The atmosphere here is honestly really well. You can probably hear it in the background. Let's talk about the game tonight. So Copenhagen, 63 days since they've last played. It's going to make an impact, surely, isn't it?
Yes. I mean, it has to. I know they've had 1 or 2 games, and I think it's an Atlantic Cup they've played in for teams that have had a break in the winter. But come on, I mean, coming back and playing after 60 days, anybody at the best of times is going to be difficult. But when you're playing the best team in Europe, it's going to be, I think it'll be too much for them. But the one thing they will do, they'll have a go. They will have a go. The players and the crowd, you know, create an atmosphere where the tempo will be high and they'll be up for it. But it would be unbelievable.
So is that what you think it is then? It has to be tempo that's going to upset the way that City want to play today?
Oh, I think it's their only chance. I mean, they ain't going to outplay City. And I think if they go the other way and sit back, I think City will pass it to death, and it'll only be a matter of time. So I think their only chance is to have a go. And even then, you leave the door open at the back, City could, you know, really punish them.
Now, a man who's played against Manchester City before and also scored some important goals for Copenhagen is Ellie. He'll be key tonight for them, won't he?
Oh, he'll be busting it. I tell you what, he scored some important goals. You know, obviously I know him pretty well. Southampton, he was up in Scotland with Celtic for a while, and he did well at Celtic. Again, scored some important goals. He'll be a key player for them. There's no doubt about it. And if you're trying to make a case for them, you know, they've drawn with Bayern, they've beaten Galatasaray, they've beaten United at home. But I just think this is a different proposition. I really, really do. But Ellie and Unity will be key for them in terms of trying to get something.
And how about from the City standpoint? Are there any players you're looking out to see the performance today, to see if they're really in a good moment coming towards the end of the season?
Foden, man. I mean, I'm getting a lot of stick on this radio now because I've turned into Phil Foden's #1 fan.
We love you, Ali. We love you.
I'm getting dogs abuse from everywhere. I actually said last night, we're having a good chat, we're out for a bit of dinner. I don't think there's anybody right now in world football that takes the ball better than Phil Foden. I honestly got to genuinely mean it, and I know what audience I'm appealing to, but I genuinely mean it. Whether he takes it on the half turn or he lets it through him, I just think he's, in terms of receiving the ball, he's a joy to watch.
You know what else is a joy? Having you on Matchday Live. You are welcome whenever you want. Listen, we've got a certain person in the studio, Natalie Pike, who we've already mentioned before is a massive, massive fan of you. So should we make a day again?
Natalie, once again, we'll have to get you out here on the match day. I keep missing you, but it's great to see you, and I hope you enjoy the game tonight.
Trying to take my job now as well, isn't it? Right, let's head back to the studio. Thank you for joining us, Ali.
I love Ali McCoist. Thank you so much. Yes, well done, Ali. Get him as my agent. Should pay him to. I have to meet Ali McCoist at some point. I absolutely love him. What a guy.
He's top. Funny guy. Funny guy.
We have some brilliant guests, brilliant guests on Matchday Live tonight. Thank you to FG, thank you to Naden, thank you to Ali McCoist for his time again. Incredible Ali McCoist. One brilliant guest to another brilliant guest. We are still joined on our big screen by the legend that is Uwe Rosler. He's he's gone. He's gone again, Paul.
You said enough.
Paul, he's gone. In terms of some general memories about our Uwe, because he was in so I started supporting City in '93, which of course was Uwe's prime era. What's your kind of memories of Uwe Rosler?
No, I love him. We got on. I wouldn't say we hit it off from day one because I signed on the Friday and made my debut against Stoke at half-time the Saturday, and he hadn't spoke to me. And then after the game, he came and sat next to me, the coach, and he says, "We'll play very well together." He says, "Because you like to run around and I'll just like to stand in the box." Here he is now. I'll get your card here, mate. But over the course, since we first met, we became really good friends and still keep in touch. So, top guy.
Uwe, is that fair? You like to stand there and Paul like to run around?
You know, when I got older, maybe. But I think when I was younger, I was still running around. So, yeah, I think Paul came in, he gave us energy, he gave the whole club energy, never die spirit. His work rate was phenomenal, his goals was phenomenal. I really enjoyed with him because I think we shared the workload and we both scored goals, and I think we had a mutual respect till today for each other, and it's so nice to keep in touch to your old teammates.
Yeah, and it's so lovely to have you on the show as well. We love looking back and having our memories. I mean, I love it. I love just chatting to the players that I used to watch. In terms of your standout memories from your time at City, Uwe, is there a memory that perhaps you don't talk about a lot, or you're not often asked about, that you could share with us?
I don't want to talk about the day we got relegated. That was one of the most hurtful days in my life. I don't want to talk about this very much. I think I remember I cherished the moments when our time in the Premier League under Bruyne Houghton. I think we played attractive, attacking football. Many goals in the team. I think the supporters was at that time happy with the football they saw. Unfortunately, we could not hold it over many years. I think what I always remember is the people in Manchester. I felt the biggest compliment to the Mancunians, to Manchester, and to the football club when people ask me today, where's home? Because I'm well traveled as a player and as a coach. And I always will say Manchester is the closest to home. Even when I've been now through Corona and through my coaching career, not been able to be regular over there, but Manchester is the closest to home, and I think that's the biggest compliment I can give to the city.
Uwe, that team under Bruyne, if you had stayed together a bit longer, you could have done something quite special, because it was an unbelievably talented team, and Bruyne managed you so well, didn't he?
I think so. I think Bruyne had an eye for players. I think we were probably two, 3 players short in terms of strength of depth. But I think, like you said, we had something going on. I think we had talent, we had energy, we had team spirit. We had all the ingredients what you need to build a successful football team. We maybe was a little bit short in strength of depth, but in general, I came to the club under Brian's leadership and under Francis Lee leadership, and I think it was a successful time for me personally. I met my wife, my first son was born, and I developed a relationship to the club and to the city. What will never be forgotten.
Is it your son's names, Uwe? Are they linked to City?
My oldest son is named Tony after Tony Book, and the youngest one Colin after Colin Bell. And the oldest one is not playing football anymore. The youngest one is playing in Sweden, is professional. And those 2 persons were special also in my time. Ultimately respect for both of them, and my wife said, I said to my wife, when we get the girls, you choose the name. When we get boys, I choose the name, and she agreed. So there was no discussion.
Uwe, you will always have a home here in Manchester. Always welcome back. Although I do just want to touch on the fact that you did break our hearts a few years later, of course, when you were Wigan manager. You came and you beat us and you knocked us out of the FA Cup. Was that a weird time for you? Because obviously you want to do your best for your job, but it was City.
Yeah, that was a very strange feeling. I didn't know I was not able to celebrate. I think we had a fantastic day. I think at that time City underestimated us because before I came, a couple of months before, City won in the Carabao Cup 5-0, and then we played in the FA Cup later on, and I think we had the day of our lives. I think Manchester City at that year they only lost 1 home game, and that was against us, and we reached the semi-final in the cup, 1 penalty away from the final. So that was very, very tight to get to the final.
I still dread playing Wigan now. If we ever draw Wigan in the FA Cup, now, Uwe, I panic. It's the name I want less than anybody. In goal for you that day was Scott Carson.
Yes.
Of course, he's still around the club now. It's City this time.
Yeah, I can't believe it, eh? He's very much looking after himself. So well done for him. He has a great career. And a lengthy career, and to be part of this successful team is an unbelievable achievement.
Uwe, thank you so much again for giving us your time this evening. I know Paul's really hoping that he's going to get to speak to you soon again.
See you soon, big man.
Thank you very much for your company, guys. Enjoy the game, and hopefully I see you soon.
Thank you, Uwe. Best of luck with the rest of your season. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Uwe Rosler joining us. Oh, Uwe was in my first ever City team that I supported, so that was just absolutely such a thrill. As always, if you'd like to ask our guests any questions, you can do so by using the WhatsApp number that is on your screen. Let me see. We don't have... Oh, we've got a few. Oh, I like that one. I like your inventive questions. I do very much appreciate them. So keep your questions coming through onto the WhatsApp number. We'll get through as many as I possibly can as well. Don't forget as well, as always, that you'll get full commentary for this evening's game from the wonderful Alistair Mann. He's joined by the brilliant Michael Brown as well. If I don't say the brilliant Michael Brown, then he'll pull me up afterwards and say I was being mean. So the brilliant Michael Brown and the wonderful Alistair Mann will be your full match commentary. That is free on the Manchester City app. Now, it's not just our first team that are currently out in Copenhagen. Paul took the 5 trophies to Argentina, brought them back nice and quickly, and then we took the 5 trophies over to Denmark on the latest leg of our amazing world-travelling trophy tour. Nadem and FG caught up with some City fans who were very excited to see the 5 trophies.
All right, so here we are at the Treble Trophy Tour in Copenhagen. Stop 15.
out of 20 countries. Nadem, you've had the pleasure of being on these tours. Tell me about the feel and the atmosphere around the world.
Yeah, to be honest, it feels like a huge privilege. I think the fact that the club sort of have the foresight to be able to go and share these trophies with people all around the world, because realistically, City, from a global standpoint, there's a lot of interest, but not everyone can make it to Manchester. So the chance and the ability to be able to take the trophies around the world, and you said 15 of 20, it's been really impressive. And everywhere you go, there's huge interest, so many shirts being sold, and so many people desperate to get a chance to even be near that silverware.
And you know what it is? Over 40,000 people have taken pictures with our trophies, which is incredible.
So far.
So far.
So far.
I wonder how many people are going to ask the goal scorer from Copenhagen in 2009.
Who was that?
I think it was a man called Nadem Anua who scored our last goal in
Let's
this
not
place.
do this again. Come on, let's not do this again.
It's only right that we go and speak to some fans and see what the feel's right.
Absolutely, yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it.
So how does it feel then to be travelling around Europe as a champion of Europe?
Nedum, I can't quite believe that I'm in this privileged position, because having been City since I was 7, which is a considerable amount of time
I didn't think it was that long ago, to be honest.
No,
I didn't think it was that long ago.
Yeah, you do. I said to a couple of City fans earlier, I literally have to pinch myself to, the privilege of watching what we're so privileged to watch, and the fantastic football that we play, and to be in anywhere in Europe at all is just fantastic. So, yeah, it's just wonderful. It's just, thank the big fella up top, and of course the Sheikh and everybody who's invested so heavily in the club.
Does anyone remember the last time before last season we came here to play in Europe? Anyone remember that game? Anyone remember the scoreline? Anyone contribute?
A potential goal scorer in 2009 who might be in the same room as us right now?
Oh, was it me? Oh my gosh, I did that.
Can you believe that?
No way.
He's got an identical twin, and I remember when he was about 8 and we'd been relegated for the 2nd year on the run. And Paul and I came back from Stoke, and his twin was crying, "Why do we support City? We're rubbish, we're rubbish." And he said to them, "Look, if you two are naughty boys, we stick with you because we love you. And that's what we're doing with City, so shut up." And they did the treble, and I had breast cancer, so I couldn't travel because I had no immune system. But I was the best travel agent in the world, and I got them to Munich and Madrid and Istanbul. The moral to supporting City is it's a life lesson, that it's not always about winning, but you got to support what you love, and you got to stick with what you love regardless. And these did that, and now we're getting the reward, and it is just amazing.
A massive thank you to this amazing football club. Here, we've got a signed shirt here, and we're going to go and give it to that lady who very much deserves it with that amazing family.
Yes, absolutely. Let's go do it. Let's go do it.
Bless them. I just made them wait just here by the store. They have no idea what's going on. Come back to us. You... No. You are an absolutely incredible person. Your family's absolutely amazing. We've got a special gift for you.
Unfortunately, it's not me, but how about a signed Phil Foden shirt?
Oh, smashing. Thank you so much. Oh, honestly, I really appreciate that. That's so kind of you.
Oh, I loved that. That is all about the love and the passion of Manchester City fans. How wonderful. And check FG and Nadem out there making people happy, and Nadem spreading the word of his goal to anyone.
I think the music could have been a bit more uplifting. I was crying when I was watching that.
It's getting a bit emotional in the studio here.
We were getting a bit emotional. Just feel like we need to lift it up a bit. I tell you what, we'll lift it up with finding out a little bit about the incredible trip that you've recently had. So I mentioned it to you earlier because you've come back from Argentina. The trophy tour's been all around the world. I do really hope that you've had a chance wherever you are in the world to see the trophies, because you've both been involved in the trophy tour. Where does Argentina rate on your trips that you've been?
But it's up there. But they're all. You can't pick one over another, Shaun, can you?
No, you can't.
It's amazing to go. The one thing, when you fly into every country you're going to, you're sort of wondering what the fans are going to know about the club, what their knowledge is going to be, how fanatical are they about being a different country, and it blows your mind every time you go. And they're so appreciative of the club, because people in Argentina, China, I know Shaun's going to South Africa soon. They'll never get the opportunity to see the trophies, to come to the Etihad or anything else. So the fact that the club are making the effort to bring the trophies to go to them to see them, it blows their minds, and they're so appreciative of it. And as always, when you go on these trips, and Shaun will tell you the same thing, the community projects that the club do out there are the best. The young leaders programme, Citizens Givens, in one of the deprived areas in Buenos Aires, and there's kids there that the young leaders are trying to save them from drugs, from been thieves from getting in jail, from prostitution and everything at young ages, and you know, Citizens Giving programme is Ireland go in there and they train the young leaders up to look after the kids that are there so they can be young leaders in the future and do it, and you know, and that doesn't always get spoke about, and it's an amazing thing to be a part of, isn't it?
Yep.
Incredible work that they're doing around the world. Really is. You're in South Africa, are you?
I just said to Steph, I was trying to keep it a secret, but obviously Paul just put it out there.
When do you go?
On the 13th of March. Yeah.
Wow. And where else have you been? What other countries have you been to on the trophy tour? Oh, there's so many they can't remember them all.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Yep.
OK, so hold on a minute. What's occurring to me right now? I don't know about you, Steph, but obviously when Steph and I celebrate the trophy wins, we do it for the love of the club. I'm starting to think that you might be celebrating so hard about City winning trophies because you know it means you're travelling around the world.
No, it's because I get to see the kids in the community.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's right.
Oh, OK. All right, then. Shut me up.
Me and Shawnee are WhatsApping each other every time we listen.
What country are we getting to now? What is your favourite part about the trophy tours?
It's exactly that. It's the stuff they do in the community. And I always say, I've said it quite a few times, that I remember coming through the academy at City and being forced into doing the kids' pantomime for Christmas. And as Paul would tell you, I was quite reserved, quiet chap back then.
He was one of the 7 dwarfs.
I always found that quite challenging for myself, because the kids were like all out there. And funny enough, I was like the nervous one, but they've always done stuff like in the community to help in Manchester, even when they didn't have the money. And the fact that they have kind of got all of that now, they haven't changed that identity. That identity is still there, but just on a bigger scale. Instead of talking about what they're doing, they're actually going into other countries and helping the kids that can't help themselves and giving them an avenue and a pathway to probably be successful in something they most probably never knew they could. So I think, although the trips are nice and sometimes glamorous, that's not the part of it we care about. That's, in a way, a bonus for us. But the kids, the work that we do over there as a club is phenomenal.
Yeah, I've heard you both talk about that many times. Please tell me there is some pictures or some video somewhere of you in the pantomime.
It can't. It would have been VHS, isn't it? That don't really exist.
Steph,
that is my mission to find out.
Yes, please. I very much hope, Steph, that you have another many years of your football career ahead of you. But is it nice to know that perhaps one day, when you're not playing football, that you might be able to join these two and travel the world?
Well, I'm hoping so, unless these are taking all the gigs. That's what the plan is. I think these go, yeah, I'll go Argentina, and yeah, I'll go South Africa. So maybe include me if you can.
Yeah, there's plenty of trips, plenty of love for everyone, Shawnee.
Exactly that.
And Nadem and Jolie, and I hear them talk, they've been to some pretty exciting places as well. So absolutely love the trophy tour. It's something that Manchester City came up with so that they could bring trophies and get closer to our fans, you wonderful fans all around the world. Absolutely love that. Thank you for sending in your WhatsApp questions. There is quite a few coming through. I really like this one. It's really random, but I really like it, Jacob. OK, so Jacob has sent in this WhatsApp question. I presume that Jacob's been getting involved in the Six Nations, has been enjoying watching a bit of rugby lately, because Jacob wants to know who you all think, which City player would make the best rugby player?
Ex or current?
Any.
If you're going ex, you've got to say Mika or Richard Dunn.
Yeah, Andy Morrison.
Why is that? Why are you saying that, Paul?
Just because they're very nimble on their feet and quick on the ball. Steph?
I'll go current, and I'll probably go Doku, just because he's rapid.
Good shout.
So just give it to him and let him run to get a try.
Yeah.
Respectful shout.
I let them two comment about Andy, not me.
Steph and I said nothing about you, Andy.
Yeah, remember.
Great question, Jacob. Love that. I love this question from Lewis as well. Steph, would you say, or what would you say are the similarities between Haaland and Bunny Shaw?
Prolific, both of them. I think if you look at the goal ratios and games that they've played, I think when they get chances, the 9 times out of 10 take the chances. And I think sometimes in big games, when you need someone, you look up to someone to provide a big moment, I think pretty much both of them are able to do that. So, and the scary thing is Haaland's 23, Bunny's 27, I think, and they've got so much more to give, and they can only get better.
Love that. Another great question. Thank you so much. You really do send in the most wonderful questions. Thank you. I love this one from Paddy as well. And do you know what, Paddy, the amount of times we've spoken about 99 with Paul Dickov, and I actually don't think we've ever asked him this, so I love this question. So, no pressure here, Paul. So, we've just won the treble. Obviously, there was a massive high. How did you and City react after the Gillingham game? Do you think it was a similar high to winning the treble, considering the mentality and what it meant?
I can't remember 2 weeks after it, if I'm being completely honest.
You're asking the wrong person.
You should maybe ask somebody else the next time they're in. Oh, no, look, it was whether it's compared to the treble or not. And, I mean, at that time, it was massive for us. It was massive for us as a club. If anything, the night after the game, it was a little bit like the players initially. We were drained. We were just absolutely exhausted. I remember sitting in the changing room and everybody's expecting it to be jumping, champagne, beers everywhere. Everybody was just absolutely shattered. But we made up for it the next few days, I will tell you that. Well,
I bet you did.
We did.
I bet you did. And as always, we wouldn't be here without that. So the celebrations should have been as incredible. And then the last question, just for now. And do you know what? It links in lovely, Cameron. Thank you so much. What is everybody's all-time favourite Manchester City kits? And obviously, I'm going to say the 1999 Gillingham kit. I still have my original shirt at home. The original one from 99, kept safely at home. Is that your favourite City one?
Yeah, I think it's got to be. And the weird thing about that kit, when it first came out at the start of the season, I don't know if you remember, Natalie, everybody was like, what is that? Everyone hated it. And it's became iconic now because of that game. So, yeah, I've got to say that.
Is yours maybe one that you've played in?
Yeah, I think probably the 2016 one, just because winning trophies and winning the league for the first time, I think that's what I always remember kits by, is what you've achieved and if you've played well or if you've had a good season. So for me, it'd have to be that one.
Yeah, Shaun?
Mine's is the all-white one with a red and black stripe diagonally across. I really like that one. And it's most probably the first shirt that actually fit me properly.
You sure about that?
That's why I said probably.
Was that a good season in that kit, or what's the kind of reason behind?
I just liked it. I still like it now. If I see it, it's something I always look at. Apart from the purple retro one with the Uwe Rosler on the back. Apart from that, that's my other kit I like.
Because you've got that one. I remember last time you wore it. We should have told Uwe you had a shirt with.
I think we showed him the last time.
Oh, okay.
Maybe, yeah, I think we did. Yeah.
Love that. Thank you so much. Thank you for sending all of your questions. There is a few more. I'll try and get through them at half-time or at full-time. We're about 20 minutes away now from tonight's 8 p.m. kickoff in the Champions League. City taking on Copenhagen. It is the knockout stages now. And, of course, to get to the knockout stage, we had an incredible group stage run. We won every single one of our 6 games in the group. We had a 100% record, 18 goals scored, just 7 conceded. We scored 3 goals in every game, which I don't know why I didn't realise at the time. We're only the 9th team ever to get a 100% record in the group stage. Only Real Madrid did it as well this time round. That is since 2003, 2004. I mean, it really was, Shaun, an incredible group stage campaign from us.
Yeah, and I think what they've done is they've carried that professional performances they had away from home over last year especially, and then they've gone into it with that mentality that they know what it takes to win. They're not conceding too many goals, and that will be down to what Paul said, then we're not as gun-ho as we used to be in, say, the Premier League. We control the games and we defend in a way before we attack and still play progressive football all at the same time and wait for the chances rather than force the chances, and I think that's helped us in that competition a lot.
Yeah, that's so bang on, especially when you immediately look at the first game of the group campaign. So we played Red Star, of course it was at home. We won it 3-1, but we did go down 1-0. So they took the lead at half-time. We were 1-0 down in our first group stage game. We went on to win it, those second-half goals from Alvarez, who got 2. And, of course, Mr. Champions League, Rodri, got a goal as well, just to remind us, how wonderful he was. And so that was our first game. We went down at half-time, but we ended up winning 3-1. We then travelled away to Leipzig, and Phil Foden put us 1-0 up. Alvarez and Doku, Dicky, Foden, Alvarez, Doku. Again, another example of we can get goals from everywhere.
We can, and what a finish that was as well. Going back to the Rodri goal before, what I loved about that the most, I think they said Stefan Ortega pulled Rodri at half-time and said he kept shooting too high. he'd been watching the goalkeeper. He said he's not ready for that one down low. And I love things like that. It just shows you that, you know, they just don't go out and play and say what Pep does. To have your teammates having an input like that and helping you, then 5 minutes in the second half, Rodri gets out of his feet and bends it in the bottom corner.
I never knew that.
Yeah, it was fantastic. And I just love little snippets like that. It just gives you an insight to what the changing room's really like.
So interesting, yeah. So then on to the third game there. You're seeing the young boys now. This was away. We won this one 3-1. Akanji, of course, going back to Switzerland, his home country, and scoring. And then 2 goals for Erling Haaland. It was the plastic pitch, if you remember. We talked about that a lot. Then we had the return leg where young boys came here. We kept a clean sheet in this one, hurrah! And another 3-0 win and another 2 goals for Haaland, Steph, and Phil Foden again.
Yeah, I mean, just normal service resumes, doesn't it, really? But I think at this moment when we're playing Champions League, I don't think in general we were playing our greatest football. I think we had a little bit of a hangover from last season, and I think all the lads and Pep have kind of came out and said that, and we always want to peak at this time of the season, but to come through a group and to win quite convincingly is credit to them. And it's scary to think that we've probably got a lot more to give with the likes of Kevin De Bruyne coming back.
Yeah, because again, in the next game after this, we went 2-0 down again, and people were really asking questions at half-time. So we played Leipzig in the home game. At half-time, City were 2-0 down, having not done very much in the first half at all. Then, of course, in the second half, don't ever panic, Blues. Never worry, because Erling Haaland, Phil Foden and Julian Alvarez all scored in a second-half dominant performance. So we ended up winning the game 3-2. I mean, I always know, Paul, that we're great. We can come back, but I mean, 2-0. Even at half-time, I was getting a little bit nervous, but there was still a sense of no, we can still do this.
We can. We've got players like Phil down north. I think Ali touched on it before, and we've just seen it taking the ball in the half turn on his back foot. He's one of the best that's out there. And you know, and I remember that game. There was a couple of little murmurs in the crowd at half-time, wasn't there? Because we didn't play well at all first half. And as Steph said, it was a time where we weren't firing on all cylinders, but it just shows you it's, even when we're not playing well, the guys have got the determination to really dig in there, believe in the quality that they've got, that they're going to get something out of the game, and they've done it yet again.
They did it, and they qualified, of course, for the knockout stages from that game. And then, of course, we had our final game, which is away at Red Star. And this, for me, is really memorable because, of course, so many of the academy players were involved. Micah Hamilton with his debut goal, Oscar Bob with a senior goal as well. And it was just so unbelievably wonderful to see Micah Hamilton, I mean, a few of the academy players have been involved in the group stage as well. And that was such a memorable moment for everybody, Shaun.
Yeah, but when Hamilton come on, the way he played is as if so he had been there before. He never made the wrong decisions on the ball, and when it was time to take somebody on, whether it was a 2v1 or a one-on-one, he seemed to pick the right moments to do it, and something always come off the back of it, whether it was a penalty or a free kick, or he gets past him to score his goal. And for a young lad to come into a game like that, even though they had already qualified, and put his stamp on the mark like that, for me is incredible. And just his confidence here to move him twice and still get the shot off. And most people try and hit that low. He had the initiative to hit that into the roof of the net, and that just shows his confidence.
It's a finish you'd have been proud of, that one, Shaun.
Yeah, I'm more low and hard in the corner though, ain't I?
I do think that says a lot about the team and the culture that the lads have created, that you can bring young players in who can feel as though they're free to express themselves, especially forward players. I think you want them to be in 1v1 situations. And I know Micah, and I spoke to him about this goal, and I was like, what were you thinking? He was like, honestly, Steph, I wasn't even nervous because I'd been training all week with him. The lads had made us really feel settled, even Pep. And to be able to do that and go and play in the Champions League, which was probably a dream come true, to then go and score as well and contribute in a way that probably none of us expected, it's pretty cool. I just think from a team perspective, that just shows what the club's about. Yeah. They want to bring youngsters in, but the lads welcome them in and try and improve them and to try and get them to be at the level that they should be. And
that's huge, isn't it? As a young player going in and getting that acceptance. We've all been there at some point in our careers, you know, and you are quite nervous because you don't know what to expect, or you don't know if they're going to trust you. They don't know. And
he's probably got heroes over there as well that he's looking up to and wanting to be part of.
He's most probably earned the trust, though.
Yeah.
Like, you know what it's like. We've all been there. But when you give a kid the ball, if you keep giving it to him and they keep losing it, it's not because you don't want to help them. You don't give it to them again. It's also you don't want to run back and defend in training.
Yeah. True.
So he's earned that trust in training, and he repaid it in kind.
I love that insight from all of you. Thank you so much. Yeah, incredible insight you get here on Matchday Live with all of our players and former players as well. And talking about players and former players, we're going to go back over now to Copenhagen. In fact, it was recorded a little bit earlier on. You'll notice that because the stands are still empty. Don't panic, the stands are now full. We had to grab him before he went off to do his other broadcast duties. But FG and Nedum managed to speak to Jolien Lescott a little bit earlier, and I'm just wondering, I'm going to have to ask Jolien how many times Nedum told him about his goal in the changing rooms.
Yes, thank you very much, Natalie. Welcome back to the Parkin Stadium. With great pleasure to say, me and the iconic goalscorer from 2009 are joined by Manchester City's legend, Jolien Lescott. First things first, let's address the elephant in the room before Nedum starts talking about his goal again.
Nearly.
You've seen the goal.
The own goal? I see the own goal. You want to keep it through it?
He couldn't save it. He could not save it.
He should have saved it.
But he could not save it. That's the thing. He could not save it. He could not save it.
That was his last game in professional football.
Do you know, it is awkward. Obviously, you scored a ton of goals and whatever. And everyone says, a goal's a goal. But that one itself, it's a bit awkward, isn't it? It's a bit awkward.
Yeah, I'm celebrating, though.
Yeah.
Man cut in like Henry.
You see finish to get to as well.
And finish like Henry. Henry the Hoover.
Cut in like Henry and finish like Henry. Well, that's not a bad one, to be fair. We'll clip that one up. Right, OK. Let's talk about the game. Last 16, here we are. But this time it's a little bit different this year with the defending champions. As a man who's won many things for Manchester City and given Manchester City fans many memories, what's it like being a defending champion going into a tournament or a competition? Is there added pressure?
Probably not added pressure. Obviously, there's a target on your back. And obviously, it's excited as well. You are the champions, and you have to recognise that. But you also have to recognise that people will raise their games when you come to town. And I think people have been raising their games for multiple seasons now. So I don't think the team will be thinking anything less than 100% effort from Copenhagen. It'll be a tough game.
And what do you think in terms of Copenhagen having had a winter break as such?
Yeah.
Do you believe that they'll be fresher and more ready to go, or would you rather be in a rhythm like City are?
I think I'd rather be in a rhythm. I think the importance of this game, I think I'd rather have a couple of games under my belt so I kind of know where you are, especially when you know. It's like, it's probably more from a defensive point of view. Point of view, you want to know where you are, where your body are, when you can trust yourself. And it's funny because they've had a winter break, they've gone to a warmer climate, and then you come into this, so it's like a shock to the system, do you know what I mean? So how beneficial is that? I don't know, but again, this is always going to be a tough game for them.
No, it is a cold win, and honestly, it is freezing, by the way. But very grateful to be with two defenders. Let's talk on the defensive side from Copenhagen then, Nedum. How do you expect them to sort of set up here? Do you think they're going to sit back? I mean, the atmosphere in the stadium is already building. There's a stand on our right-hand side which is full, and we've heard good things about it.
I think from my standpoint, you know, you could set up a team to sit back, but give the crowd something to get into. And I think as a defender, you can still be competitive. Don't allow them, in my mind, to get into a rhythm. You know, how do you affect your matchup, your striker you're up against, say the winger that you're up against, the attacking midfielders? If you let City just roll it around and them to get ready, before you know it, you will be punished. And it's not to say you're going to overcommit and go and press too high, but judge it, make sure they know that they're in a game however you can, whenever you can, and I'm sure the crowd will be right behind you, because that's what they want to see. They don't want to see a procession from a team who, you know, maybe they don't like. They want to see the team give a good game against them, and if they do that, then they'll be happy.
And Jolien, I have to ask you as well, you've obviously scored a lot of good goals in your career. Have you got any tips to Nedum as to how to...
You cannot talk. You cannot talk. Two people here have scored in Europe.
Yeah. I've actually
you figure out who's who. You figure out who's who.
Nah, it doesn't count. There was no one there. And it wasn't even COVID either, but you...
Nobody wanted to be there.
Yeah, that's
the difference. Nobody wanted
there before I was there, that's all that matters.
Yeah,
speaking of a serial goal scorer, Shaun Wright-Phillips in the studio.
Yeah.
Got any words for Shaun Wright? I've heard that he ordered a takeaway to the studio.
What did he order?
Before. I have no idea, but I think there was chips with it.
Standard. Mayonnaise and a Coke. Definitely had a Coke.
Let's head back to the studio. Shaun, you've got a lot to answer for.
Oh, poor Shaun Wright-Phillips, because they're laughing at him having food and Coke, but you tried, didn't you, Shaun? You tried. Do you want to tell everybody what's happened?
I'm going to keep that story to myself, thank you, because I'm hungry right now.
Shaun Wright-Phillips tried to order pizza for everybody in the studio. £100 he spent on pizza, and the pizzas haven't turned up. They haven't turned up, and he's absolutely fuming. God bless him. Thanks,
cheese
Shaun.
and pickle it is.
Thanks, Shaun. We appreciated the effort. Less than 10 minutes now till your 8 p.m. kick-off this evening. City taking on Copenhagen. Don't forget full match commentary on the Manchester City app for free with Alistair Mann and with Michael Brown. So less than 10 minutes now, Paul. This is the point where my stomach starts to go and I start to get a little bit nervous. So what's your kind of thoughts? What sort of game are you expecting? Obviously, the first of 2 legs.
Yeah, I think it'll be tough tonight. You know, their record in Europe, and said obviously beat Galatasaray, draw me Bayern Munich. I know they beat Man United, but that's not much at the minute, is it, anyway? So we won't even bother about that. But yeah, great record at home. Uwe said as well about the atmosphere, about the fans, how the players will drive off that. But I'm expecting a really, like we'd seen last season, a really professional away performance in Europe. And do you want a prediction now?
Hold on 1 second. Yep, hold on. I appreciate it. Hold on, take that. Keep it. I'll give you one more. We'll build the suspense up. Steph, we've talked about the fact that City have had so many successive draws away in Europe. Are you expecting a similar performance tonight, or do you think we're going to go out there and try and get it done in the first leg?
I'd like to think that we have that attitude of trying to get it done and to get the job done as early as we possibly can, but it will be tough. I think you've always said about the atmosphere, and I think that's what makes the Champions League so special, is that when you do go away to different places and to different countries, it's that atmosphere that's building, and it does probably cause a little bit of nervous energy between the lads, but these lads are so experienced within the Champions League, and I probably agree with Paul in the sense that it will be probably a professional performance, but I think for all of us in the studio, it'd be good if they could get an early goal just to kind of settle the nerves.
Yeah, it would be nice to go into the home leg, into the second leg with a lead, Shaun, to have a little bit of the nerves calm down a bit. Are you expecting that this evening?
I'm personally hoping that Copenhagen play into what their fans want and come out and kind of go for it against City, to be honest with you. I think it will be hard for City to deal with to start with, but I think there will be spaces for them there to exploit. Then I think if they sit back and play counter-attack, then it could be a bit tougher for us in a lot of ways. But I still think we win this and come through it fine.
Are you ready? Is that enough suspense, do you think?
Yeah, a little bit. Well, I'm going to be quite a boring prediction now.
Oh, OK, after all that.
Being honest. No, a very professional 2-0 away from home victory. I'll go for
that. Yes. Yes, please. Steph?
I'm going to go 3-0.
Oh, yes. OK, lovely. Brilliant. That was worth the suspense. Shawnee?
Seeing that you two both ordered yourself a bomber jacket from D-Square, I'm going to go 2-0 as well, just like Paul.
That was like an hour ago and he's still like seething on it, isn't he? It's brilliant. OK, love that. So they've got you two sticking together, the world travellers, and the people back here doing the hard work going for 3-0.
We'll keep everything going while you're just travelling.
Yeah, we'll keep it going, don't worry. I'm going to go with Steph on 3-0 as well. So you've got about 6 minutes now until kick-off. Alistair Mann and Michael Brown on the app, of course. Don't forget. I've got and a lovely message there. Elvis from Copenhagen that bumps into FG in the shopping centre in Copenhagen has sent in a message saying, thanks for putting a smile on my face every match day live. No, thank you, Elvis, for watching all the way from Copenhagen. Thank you to everybody that watches all around the world. We do love it. We do very, very much appreciate you joining us. So we'll be back at half-time. Well, hopefully Shaun will still be here at half-time. And we'll also be back at full-time as well, where, fingers crossed, we will be talking about City taking a lead into the second leg of the last 16 of the Champions League. We'll also be going back at some point to FG and to Nadem. Nadem's currently standing out in Copenhagen telling the stewards about the goal that he scored. I think maybe 10 times. I said 15, but I think we ended up talking about it about 10. Right, enjoy the first half, Blues. Over to Alistair Mann and Michael Brown for your commentary.
Well, a very warm welcome to the Parken Stadium. It is 8:55 local time. The players are in the tunnel, getting ready to enter what is a throbbing, pulsating arena, packed to the rafters, and perhaps even more excitable than ever before, because there's been a 2-month winter break, of course, in Denmark, but perhaps more significantly, for the first time, they're in the knockout stages after a 13-year absence from the last 16 of the Champions League. They won the Danish double last campaign, and although they're not